it's Mariam. Today I am giving you guys a huge book haul. I have a total of 29 books that I have picked up over the past couple months that I'm going to be hauling for you guys. Let's get right into it because we've got quite a few books to go through. I picked up my first ever Mariana Zapata book, which I am excited for but very nervous because I've heard she's the queen of slow burn and all her books are very long. They are thick AF. So I picked up From Lukov with Love. This will also be my first ever sports romance, which I'm very excited for. Well, it's a figure skating romance, but I classify that as a sports romance. And it's also enemies to lovers. Excuse me, what? That's everything that I love in a romance. Give me all the enemies to lovers vibes and I will read it. So very excited to be reading this one. I literally don't know anything about it apart from both of them being figure skaters and both of them hating each other, and apparently the banter is really good. Then I picked up two of Sarah Adams' books, and she is a young adult romance author. So I picked up The Temporary Roomie and The Match. I love the pastel and cartoon covers, it's so cute. This is The Match. I believe this has this single dad trope, which is also another trope, surprisingly, that I have never read about. I have read the single mum trope, but not the single dad trope. And this is really cool because the girl works for this company called the Southern Service Paws, and she meets this single dad named Jacob, who is trying to match his daughter up with one of their service dogs, and obviously they're going to be striking up a relationship from there. Then The Temporary Roomie is a fake dating, enemies to lovers, forced proximity romance. Don't know anything about it after that, but I do know in the synopsis it says, I may not be good at forgiving or forgetting, but I'm excellent at getting even. I have a feeling this is gonna have some good banter. I'm excited. And because I love The Hating Game, I decided to pick up Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne to see what this book is gonna be like. Rachel Catherine, who is one of my favorite YouTubers, loves this book, so I thought I would pick it up. I believe this is about our two love interests who are kind of like opposites. They don't actually have the best first impression, but then they meet again and they start becoming friends and learn that they've got actually a lot in common, and then obviously that turns into something more. Then I picked up my favorite series in paperback, and that is the Wild series by K.A. Tucker. So we've got the Simple Wild, Wild at Heart, and Forever Wild. I haven't read the second two books in the series, but I'm so excited to read them because the Simple Wild is my favorite romance book. It's grumpy sunshine, opposites attract, small town romance, kind of enemies to lovers a little bit as well, and the banter in the first book is absolutely incredible, and I recommend it to anyone who loves a romance because that book honestly has my whole entire heart. Then I picked up Hook, Line and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I'm so excited. This is the second book in the Ballinger Sisters series, and it is following Piper's sister Hannah. Is that her name? Yeah, Hannah. This is a friends to lovers romance. Fun fact, I still haven't read It Happened One Summer, but this book was on sale, so that's why I decided to pick this one up first, but I will definitely be getting It Happened One Summer once that goes on sale as well. Then I picked up the two books in the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, which is very hyped up on Book Talk. So we've got The Fine Print, which is the first book, and Terms and Conditions, which is the second book. So The Fine Print is about Rowan and Zara. I believe this is workplace romance, grumpy sunshine, boss employee situation, I think. So Rowan is like very grumpy, very serious, and he is like the CEO of the Dreamland theme park, and he offers Zara her dream job, but the catch is they're going to be basically having to spend 24/7 together, and like he's rich, like it's a billionaire romance. Terms and Conditions, which is about the second brother Declan and his love interest Iris. So this is a marriage of convenience, and he's actually going to become the next CEO of the family's media empire. In order to get the inheritance, he needs to be married to someone, but he is like very grumpy as well, so it's another grumpy sunshine situation. And Iris is like his personal assistant, I think. She offers to marry Declan, so it's marriage of convenience, another grumpy sunshine, billionaire romance. Then I've got a cute little rom-com. This is called A Brush with Love by Maisie Eddings, and fun fact, this author actually follows Ali and I on our Bookstagram, which is so surreal. Like, I was fangirling big time when I saw the notification. Also, another fun fact, when I read the title of this book, because it says A Brush with Love, I thought this was going to be like about two artists that like paint But then I actually found out it's more actually dentistry, not painting. So I was like, oops. This is following Harper and Dan. I think this ends up being friends to lovers. I'm not really too sure. I actually don't know too much about this book, but I do know that Harper is awaiting news from like the residency program of her dreams, and she's a dental student and she's very like focused. And there's this first year student named Dan who doesn't really have the same passion about dentistry as Harper, but he is instantly falling for her. I feel like this is going to give me a similar vibe to The Love Hypothesis, like setting wise. So annoyed about the as seen on TikTok sticker though. I don't know why books have those stickers if you can't peel it off. Like, why is it in the book? I don't want a sticker on the book. It's like one of my pet peeves. I think this next book is probably my favorite book cover. It is so freaking pretty. This is Battle Royal by Lucy Parker. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about this book, but this book is absolutely gorgeous. Like, this cover, this is one of those situations where I was like low-key judging the book by its cover because I was like, okay, this is really cute, so it must be good. But this is obviously a romance. I will read the back of the book because I also want to know more about this book. 4 years ago, Sylvie Fairchild charmed the world as a contestant on the hit baking show Operation Cake. Her ingenious creations captivated viewers and intrigued all but one of the judges, Dominic DeVary. When Sylvie's unicorn cake went spectacularly sideways, Dominic was quick to vote her off the show. Since then, Sylvie has used her fame to fulfill her dream of opening a bakery. The toast of Instagram sugar fair has captured the attention of the Operation Cake producers and a princess. Dominic is His Majesty the King's favorite baker and a veritable British institution. He's brilliant, talented, hardworking, and an icy, starchy grouch. Okay, it's gonna be Grumpy Sunshine as well. Cool, love it. Learning that Sylvie will be joining him on the Operation Cake judging panel is enough to make the famously baker even more grim. Her fantastical baking is only slightly more troublesome than the fact that he can't stop thinking about her pink streaked hair and irresistible dimple. When Dominic and Sylvie learn they will be fighting for the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bake a cake for the upcoming wedding of Princess Rose, the flower begins to fly as they fight to come out on top. Okay, the synopsis sounds really good, so I'm really hoping that I love this book because it sounds really cool. Like, it's enemies to lovers, it's Grumpy Sunshine, it's baking, like it's already giving me cozy vibes, and the author is actually from New Zealand, so that's also really cool as well. Then I picked up Shipped by Angie Hockman. This was on my 2022 TBR. It is kind of giving me the Unhoneymooners meets the Hating Game vibe because it's it literally says at the back, oh my god, the Unhoneymooners meets the Hating Game. It's workplace romance, enemies to lovers, and they both work on a cruise ship. So we've got Henley Evans, who is like the marketing manager, and then we've got Graham Crawford Collins, who is an off-site social media manager. They both do not get along despite the fact that they've never met each other. But then there is this job proposal that comes up, so they both have to go on the company cruise together and meet for the first time. But then obviously when they meet each other, there's sparks and tension and banter. I love The Hating Game. Like, it was my favorite book of 2021, so I hope this one is gonna be good. All right, then I've got 2 books by an author called Kristen Callahan. So I've got Dear Enemy and Make It Sweet. So Dear Enemy is obviously enemies to lovers. As kids, Mason and Delilah hated each other, but then 10 years go by and her old enemy sends her a text. Delilah's sister has stolen a valuable heirloom from Mason, who's now a Hollywood star, and he intends to collect his due. One problem, her sister has skipped town. Sparks still sizzle between Mason and Delilah, only this heat feels alarmingly like unwanted attraction. But Delilah is desperate to keep her weak-hearted mother from learning of her sister's theft, so she proposes a deal. She'll pay off the debt by being Mason's personal chef and assistant. It's a recipe for disaster, but Mason can't stop himself from accepting, even though Delilah clearly hates him. And then we have another book called Make It Sweet by the same author, but I don't think this is like part of a series or anything. I think they're both standalones. So we've got Emma. The world knows her as Princess Anya on Dark Castle, but then her character gets the axe, literally. The cherry on top is finding her boyfriend in bed with another woman. She needs a break, and sanctuary comes in the form of Rosemont, a gorgeous estate in California promising rest and relaxation. Then she meets the owner's equally gorgeous grandson, ex-hockey player and current recluse Lucian Osmond, and she sees her own pain and yearning reflected in his eyes. He's charming when he wants to be, but also secretive and gruff, with protective walls as thick as Emma's own. Despite a growing contraction, they avoid each other. But then there's an impromptu nighttime skinny dip, and Lucian's luscious homemade tarts and cream cakes start arriving at Emma's door, tempting her to taste life again. In trying to stay apart, they only grow closer, and their broken pieces just might fit together and make them whole. How to Plan Your Fake Wedding by Justine Lewis. I'm gonna read the back of the book because I don't know how to explain this book. Holly needs a fake boyfriend to land her dream job. Charlie has sacrificed his 20s and his liver to his law firm, but that doesn't seem to count for anything when in the running for a promotion. If he can find a girlfriend, they might be convinced that he's settled down and ready for partnership. Holly and Charlie fake a romance. Sounds perfect, right? Trouble is, Holly's housemates Harvey and Saskia have secrets of their own. Harvey has loved Holly for longer than he can remember. He just hasn't ever found the right moment to tell her. Saskia's life is falling apart. She's feuding with her brother, and if she can't hold it all together, she might be out of a job. She's also hiding a secret that could bring the whole charade crashing down. Four friends think a fake wedding will solve all their problems, but in reality, it's a messy love square that will only end in happily ever after if each of them can find the courage to speak the truth. Then I've got Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Finally! We've got Nora, who's a cutthroat literary agent at the top of her game, and her whole life is books. And Charlie is an editor with a gift for creating bestsellers, and he's Nora's work nemesis. So it's also workplace romance, enemies to lovers. Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. This is the author of House in the Cerulean Sea. When a reaper collects Wallace from what she claims is his funeral, he's outraged. But Hugo, owner of a peculiar tea shop, promises to help him cross over. Wallace reluctantly accepts the truth, yet even in death he refuses to abandon his life despite spending all of it working. As Wallace grows closer to Hugo and shares jokes with his resident Gross, he wonders if he's missed something. So when he's given 1 week to pass to the other side, Wallace sets about creating a lifetime in just 7 days. And it's an uplifting story about a life spent at the office and a death spent building a home. I have a feeling this one's going to get me in my feels. Then I also got my first ARC, which, what the heck, so cool. This is called On Rosie Lane by Rose Elaine. I have a feeling this is going to be like a lot to do with the author's life. I'm just so grateful to even be sent a book as an ARC. That is just so cool. So thank you so much to Rose Elaine for sending this to me. I am very excited to read it, and it's really short as well. It's like, how many pages is it? 99 pages. It's so short, so I'll definitely be reading this one. The other books that I got were all from the Op Shop and Facebook Marketplace. So we'll start with Facebook Marketplace. I picked up 2 Colleen Hoover books. So I've got Hopeless. I have no idea what this book is about. You guys know when it comes to Colleen Hoover, I like to go in completely blind. So we're not reading the synopsis of this book, and I have no idea what it's about, but I do know it's a romance. And I've got Confess as well, which I also don't know about. All I know is the main character's name is Owen and Auburn. That's all I know. And then I have some books in this little crate situation, which I got from the Op Shop. It was very successful. First up, I found a Colleen Hoover book at the Op Shop, so you know I was living. I got This Girl for $5, which is so good. This is the 3rd book in the Slammed series. I haven't even read the first 2 books or owned the first 2 books, but when I saw this, I obviously had to get it. Super excited to be reading the Slam series. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm excited because it's Coho. Then I got a few books by an author called Jane Costello. I've never read any of her books before, but I've heard that she's a best-selling author, so it looks promising. First up, I've got Bridesmaid. So this has 4 weddings, 3 disgruntled ex-boyfriends, and 2 very effective chicken fillet boob enhancers, and 1 gorgeous man. Then I've got My Single Friend, 4 bad dates, 3 sassy women, 2 inseparable friends, and 1 way too successful makeover. I also think this is a friends to lovers romance as well. The other one I've got is The Wish List. This is about a girl named Emma who has 6 months left of her 20s, and she has like a list of things that she wants to do before she turns 30, but her career is all wrong, her love life is a mess, and there's a rambling country house she pictured herself is simply never materialized. And then this last book by Jane Costello, I actually picked up because I purchased my first home a year ago, and this book is kind of like a similar vibe. Well, not really, but it's about 2 love interests who find a dream first home, but making it theirs is going to be a nightmare. This one is the one I'm most excited about just because it's like kind of surrounding a house. Like, I love that. True Love at the Lonely Hearts Bookshop. This is part of a series. I have the third book. I don't know. I think this one's like the second or first book. I'm not too sure. But this is a romance. Then I picked up a thriller, and that is The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth. I got this thrifted as well. So I got this for $5. You may get to choose your partner, but you don't get to choose your mother-in-law. From the moment Lucy met Diana, she was kept at arm's length. Even after marrying Oliver, Lucy knew that she'd never be close. But who could fault Diana, a pillar of the community, an advocate for social justice, the matriarch of a lovely family? That was 10 years ago. Now Diana has been found dead. There is a suicide note, but the autopsy reveals a foul play, and everyone in this family is hiding something. And last but not least, I picked up P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. I picked up this book because it reminded me a lot of a book that I read in May that I absolutely loved, which was Pack Up the Moon. This is about Holly and Jerry, who were childhood sweethearts and were absolutely in love with each other and were soulmates. But then Jerry dies. Holly is devastated, but Jerry has left her a bundle of notes, one for each month of her year, each signed P.S. I Love You. As the notes are open, the man who knows Holly better than anyone teaches her that life goes on with some help from friends and family. Holly laughs, cries, and finds that life is worth living for, but it helps if there's someone watching over you. This book is definitely going to be an emotional, sad read, but I'm very excited because it gives off the Pack Up the Moon vibes, which I absolutely love. So I hope this one is just as good. So that concludes my huge book haul. I will definitely need to be putting myself on a book buying ban because I have a lot of books that I will need to read. Like, this is going to set me up for at least a couple of months, so I really have no excuse to be buying more books. But we all know that I broke my book buying ban. You may see a book haul again soon. I do hope you guys enjoyed watching this video though. Let me know if you've read any of these books that I just hauled. Leave me some other book recommendations, or probably don't, because that's gonna encourage my book buying ban. But give this video a huge thumbs up if you did enjoy watching, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week. Follow me on my Instagram. I have a personal Instagram where I post fashion and lifestyle content, and then I have a bookstagram with my friend Ali, and we post our current reads, book reviews, and book wrap-ups and stuff on there as well. I also have a Goodreads and an Amazon wish list, which I will also have linked down below as well. I will see you all in my next video. Bye!